Welcome to Why Are You an Entrepreneur? The Trials and Triumphs of the Journey. I'm Maureen Edwards. I'm the founder of 8 Simple Steps. And for many of you, you are tuning back in. And for those of you who are watching the replay, this is where I bring you rockstar entrepreneurs every single week so we can have a 30-minute entrepreneur conversation that is rockstar all the way, because these people are making it happen out there and they're ready to give you a few words of wisdom to help you in your journey. And of course, tonight is no exception. I have the amazing Stacy M. Lewis, who has created her own company called Stacy M. Lewis Coaching and Consulting, and I can't wait to dive in. So welcome, Stacy.
Oh, Maureen, I am so excited to be here. It is so wonderful to reconnect with you. And I'm honored to be included amongst the rock stars in your community.
Absolutely. Well, I always knew you were a rock star way back when you were just coming up
Uh,
with an idea. And so my first question for everybody here is, why are you an entrepreneur? Why have you taken this path to create a company? So give us a little bit of background.
it is an excellent question, and I'm so glad I knew it was coming. That is the title of the show. Um, Primarily because I was acutely aware that my God-given gifts were for more than me and for more than what I was doing. Maureen, I have a fantastic job in
Yes.
the nonprofit sector where I lead an organization with the CEO and drive its program team. And I still love doing that. And at the same time, I know that I have the ability to be present with people, to listen acutely, to ask great questions, and to really help them shift the narrative and live it out. And so I felt like it was time for me to share those gifts differently. And that's why I became an entrepreneur.
That's awesome. So you are one of the ones out there who are juggling a big corporate job, still doing that. I don't want to say we have a side hustle, because what do we call it? A transition plan on the side. But we also talked about juggling and how we can be two things and make an impact in different ways. So tell me how you're managing having that corporate job and being responsible there, but also building your business.
I love that question because I think that the one of the keys for me to managing is the fact that I'm passionate about both. I'm not just passionate about my job and doing the coaching as a side hustle, the consulting as a side hustle, like you said. I'm passionate about my job and I'm passionate about coaching and really just living my own life to the fullest. And so I find that struggling the juggle at times is still meaningful work. And there are times, in full candor, it is a struggle. I travel a lot for my 9 to 5, so to speak, or 10 to 6, or 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I still want to make myself available to my clients in a way that's meaningful and consistent. And so sometimes it is a juggle. And I'm sure if my dog could talk, he would say he doesn't get enough attention sometimes.
Well, I think sometimes we don't get enough attention
Mm.
for ourselves.
You're right.
It's really just kind of taking care of everybody else, and now you have clients that you're going to have to start taking care of. But you mentioned something, and that's about passion. It's amazing how we find time for things that we love. It's
Yes.
almost like a hobby that makes money. Like, is that the best job ever? Making an impact while you make an income.
What a
Like,
gift, right?
right?
What a gift. How much more can we ask than to be able
Yeah.
to we've been given these gifts and now we're really using them and expressing them in ways that are hopefully helping others, right? The work
Right.
that you do, you're really empowering and equipping entrepreneurs. And so I think it's exciting.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so I'm going to ask you about a challenge here, because you've seen
Okay.
both worlds, the
Mm.
corporate world and the I'm owning my own business world. What have you found to be the probably the most challenging of starting your business?
That's a great question. I think one of the most challenging pieces is that for so long, professionally, I have been known and developing my career and moving and shaking, so to speak, in the breast cancer and breast cancer advocacy world. And I find it interesting that one of the challenges is for folks that know me to
Huh.
see me differently, right? To say, oh, you're not just that person, you're not just that Stacy, just that professional, but that, oh, I didn't know you do that. And many times people are saying it makes great sense, but I didn't
Yeah.
know that. So I think that that has been an interesting challenge, and I think it has been challenging in that. Um, just really balancing the needs of business development, of growing the business, and
Yeah.
the needs of my job and the needs of my home and my life. And so I think balancing has been a bit of a challenge for me as well.
So tell me how you are kind of, and of course, I've got people walking in and out. Didn't I tell you that I'll be home? I
It's
always
home.
say, it's messy, guys. We're live. This is how, entrepreneurs roll, right? We know how
Life
to
is
pivot real
messy.
quick, whatever. So you now, when you have a job, it's, you know what to expect. So now you're kind of in uncharted territory. Explain to me how you're reaching out to get this off the ground, to get clients aware of this new Stacy, and what you have to offer here. What are some of the tactics you're doing to get visibility?
Yeah, I am doing I think first and foremost, it really is relying on my existing network.
Okay.
In all of these years, I've met and have worked with and just connected with some fantastic people. And so, for me, my LinkedIn network in particular is one of those. Even if I'm just looking to bounce an idea out there, looking for some feedback, some candid feedback. It has primarily been really just utilizing my network and putting myself out there, just reintroducing
Mhm.
myself.
Yes.
Um, and I think that I do have a few clients that have really spoken highly of me, which I greatly appreciate, and
Yes.
that that helps. That proof of concept, so to speak, really does help. And I'm sure that there's a lot more I can be doing. I don't yet invest a lot in marketing and advertising, et cetera. Um, but in the nonprofit sector, a lot of organizations start organically,
Yes.
and I'm willing to allow my entrepreneurial journey to also move organically, to not put a lot of uh, expectations. Of course, I expect it to be successful because
Right.
of what I have been given and what I'm willing to give. But I do think that I'm also willing to allow it to be and flow organically. It may not look like I expect it to look. Ultimately, I believe God is in control, so it'll look how it's supposed to look.
But things you just said that I want to backtrack on. One,
Sure.
reaching out to your network. I saw the announcement when you
Mhm.
launched your company a few weeks ago. You put it out there, you had the excitement, you specifically said, who you're working with, what your goal is, what the empowerment factor is here. And the response was amazing. And I think people
It was.
sometimes have a hard time, maybe
It
with imposter syndrome. Like, I can't put myself out. People don't
it
see me like
was.
that. And they avoid a huge opportunity because they're unsure. And you were completely confident.
You are absolutely right. I sometimes you have to do it afraid, right? And
Right.
I'm sure that
Right.
that is one of the lessons we've all learned as entrepreneurs, right? You just have to do it afraid. And so while I did have a level of confidence, I was also I wanted to make sure that I was stepping out there in a way that those that know me, because of my job, still felt that, I would still be there.
Right.
That, those that know me personally felt like, oh, okay, that's interesting. The response and the support, most importantly, was really overwhelming. It really
It
was.
was.
It
I
was.
loved it. And
It
I
was.
know that you've been working on this for a couple years, and I love the organic factor of it because you took your time with this. This was
Mm.
very thoughtful. And I want you to speak to that a little bit about the preparation you have had leading up to this moment, because I think you did it in a way that a lot of entrepreneurs do not. They don't do a lot of due diligence. They don't take their time with things. So can you share how this process has been before launch?
Yeah, what's interesting is I constantly had to remind myself that I didn't start in my career where I am. And so if I didn't start in my career where I am now, but my career is successful and I want my business to be successful, I need to remind myself constantly that I need to start at the beginning and not press myself to move faster than I'm supposed to. And I'll admit that there have been some frustrations, for example, I was hoping my website was going to be ready last weekend and it's not. And,
Okay.
and it's okay, right?
It's, I
Exactly.
mean, what's one more week, right? You waited this long. And I always say, if everything's perfect, you would never launch. If you were waiting for that, that
Right,
would have been 6 weeks that you lost
right.
getting that information out there.
Well, and
So,
and it is that the gift, part of the gift in taking my time is that I also learned more about not only who I am, but who I am as a coach. Even in that website process, like having to write and rewrite and think about and hone in and edit. And it really, it really has been part of the growth process that I
yeah.
would have never anticipated. And, I'll say transparently to all of those entrepreneurs who are like, yeah, I can't afford the seven, eight, $9,000, website that, as I went the DIY route, I really learned so much that I would not have gleaned again about me and my coaching practice. I would not have gleaned had I, given somebody the seven, eight, $9,000 and said, build me a website. This is what I want to say. And I'm ready to hit the road. I think all things happen as they should. And I'm just really grateful that I took my time.
I love that because you evolve as it goes and you learn so much more about yourself, about the clients you want to serve.
Yes.
You can really, narrow in on it, and you were patient. And I think that's one thing. I'm not very good at patience, so I'm going to be the first to admit it's a big challenge of mine. And so that's why I want to focus everybody out there, listen to how Stacy did it. She was very patient, and I think that's smart. And you're talking about investing in yourself, and not just financially, but investing your time, your
Right.
energy. And I think the fact that even if you had setbacks, it didn't deter you from saying, this is what I want. So
And
kudos.
they were setbacks, right? There are always setbacks. And I think that's the beauty um, about being at this age for me,
Yeah.
is that I've been able to witness my own resiliency. And so the setbacks are not as traumatic as, as they would have been maybe, 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah. So, besides the success of getting to this point, launching it, trying to balance, what do you feel right now has been the greatest success? Other than that, that's launching it. What is it, that first client you got or the impact you made? What is it that sticks in your mind about this business that you would say, I'm in the right place?
I would actually say, yes, the first client was great, but what sticks in my mind and what's still most meaningful to me is those discovery call experiences.
Hmm.
That the opportunity to talk to people I don't know, and really have to present as my authentic self right off the bat because we're both making a decision, right?
Right. Oh,
Making
yeah.
a decision. If I'm a right fit, I'm making a decision. If they're a
Yes.
right fit, um, but really to be in a position of trust and someone else's vulnerability, and to be given the gift and the opportunity to hold that, um, in this brand new relationship, to me is pretty priceless.
That's awesome. That's totally awesome.
Pretty
So
priceless.
tell me, you're looking at the future here. You're going to keep your day job because you absolutely love it. That's great. So for somebody who's keeping their day job out there, let's look at how, Stacy's going to go about this. Um, you've got to have a plan as to, where you want to take this company. And so looking
Mhm.
at 2024, are there a certain amount of clients that you're looking at that you want to hit certain milestones? Or are you saying, organically, I'm going to put myself out there and whatever happens, happens? Tell me a little bit about your strategy for 2024.
Absolutely. I'd love to say it's organic, but it definitely has some milestones in there. I certainly want to launch a group coaching initiative. So whether it's a 3-month program or a 4-month program, I'm still noodling. But I definitely would love to do that because I think that the group dynamic, when there is that container, that group dynamic is extremely powerful. So I'm
Yes.
certainly looking to offer group coaching in 2024. And in 2024, I'm really looking to strike a balance. So, and the balance is really the priority. While the money is nice, and certainly if it's a business, it should have revenue. I want to make sure that I'm feeling like I'm serving clients well, and I'm serving Young Survival Coalition, the organization that I
Right.
and the rest will happen organically. So
Yeah.
I don't have a definitive number of clients. I really want to grow and then say like, okay, this is good. So whether that's 4 clients, a quarter, or 6 clients a quarter, I'm still not sure. But that's my thinking.
And that you can work out as you determine if you want to go that group coaching
Mhm.
route, you can take more people in. Like that's a good model. You can make a bigger impact for
Yes,
them, and utilize the time more wisely so it doesn't burn you out at the same time because it's an emotional thing what you do. And I'd like for you to share with people what type of coaching do you do and who do you serve?
absolutely. So the type of coaching I do, I'm solely focused on women, women-centered coaching, and it is transformational coaching. So it is not focused so much on the goal. So it's not focused so much on business or love or career, but more so focused on the woman herself, her values, her aspirations, what her dreams are, and what possibilities she's either coming with or in need of blossoming. And so I do women centered transformational coaching, and so that it's not just a mindset shift, but there are practices, behaviors, and consistent actions behind that shift, right? We can change our minds, but if we don't change our behaviors,
Right.
our actions, then that mindset shift may or may not be long lasting. I think your other question was who
Your target audience.
my target
You
audience.
said women. Is there
Yes,
a specific age group or?
absolutely. My target audience is self-defined midlife women. Um, and so, some define midlife at 40, some at 50, some at 60. whatever works for you. You set your own definition. I also have a particular interest in brown and black women in midlife. And that is really who I believe I'm here to serve.
Awesome. And I love that you made it very specific. Remember, we talked about narrowing in that
See,
audience.
Maureen, I listened. I
You
listened.
did. You did. And I'm so glad because you could rattle it off right now. So if we have women out there within that age group and you're at that point where you're ready for a transformation, you're ready for a change. And if you are a beautiful black or brown woman, they have different experiences a lot of times. And you know what? Somebody may say, well, why not all women? No, it shouldn't be all women. You can't serve everybody. You can serve specific, and especially the experiences. And you're so beautiful and so well spoken, Stacy. I mean, just you radiate kind of this joy and this inspiration. So I know you're in the right place right now. Definitely. So
I can't tell you how much that means to me coming from you. You truly, I will never forget your nudge, your private nudge to me. And
I didn't want to do it either, but I couldn't hold back. I was watching it, going,
and to Maureen's audience, it was basically a nudge saying, "Hey, you need some help." She was very professional about it, and very loving about it, and she was right. And working with you was indeed a pleasure, a joy, and I did listen, as you can.
yeah. But you just mentioned something that we kind of talked about right before we went live, and it's about implementation. You
Mhm.
could give them all the knowledge in the world. You could coach them. You could shift that mind. But if they're not going to implement with actionable insights and directions that you give them, then coaching doesn't work for anybody at that point, right?
You're absolutely right. I don't know if you noticed, but recently the Forbes 50 over 50 came out, right? So 50 powerful women over the age of 50. And what you see in there are not only stories of success, but stories of the struggle that then also served as the footstool to the success. And in there, I would imagine if each of them, had a 10-page spread as opposed to a half a page spread, they would talk about, their mindset and what shifts needed to take place and how, really engaging that shift from a place of power, right? We're powerful, powerful creatures. Oftentimes we don't tap into that because we're either dealing with some level of shame or some level of, I'm not enough, or does anybody see me? And those are the things we need to start to really get over, move beyond, and it takes practice. It doesn't just, like, oh, I'm confident, and then you live a life of confidence. So I think that the work, right, is indeed work, and it takes, you not only have to change your mind, but you have to change your actions.
Nothing that is worthwhile that makes change is easy. I mean, I don't think there's no easy fix in anything out there if you're going to see real results. And for people who are looking for that, whether it's starting a business, transformational mindset changes,
Right.
losing weight, there's
Mhm.
no easy fix.
It,
So
there's not. There's
yeah,
not. And if there were, we wouldn't appreciate it.
good point. Good point. Yeah.
No, I'm
So
very grateful.
So tell me, if you have somebody who's thinking about starting a business, they still have their day job, right?
Mhm.
What would you say to them? What words of wisdom would you give them?
My first words would be, make sure that you're connected to your passions, your values, right? That it's not, oh, I'd like to start a business.
Right.
That is not, driven with heart, or that you believe is part of your purpose. I think the passion, it is the passion, that like feeling in your soul that is saying, I know I'm supposed to whatever. And for me it was, I know I'm supposed to help women. I know I'm supposed to empower women, in particular midlife women, to like get out there and play your biggest game. And so I would say that it really is, it's got to start with the passion, with the heart. Otherwise, you're just going into business maybe to make money, and I can't imagine that money would ever be enough of a driver for you to be holistically successful.
Is there something, Stacy, that if you could change in this journey, you would? Is there something you did that you're like, in hindsight's 2020, I probably shouldn't have
Mm,
done that or that? Because people in this entrepreneurial thing, we make decisions, and sometimes looking back, we're like, is there anything that you would say to people that, it's kind of an authentic question, and one a lot of people don't want maybe
yeah.
sometimes to answer, but what would you have changed?
I think first and foremost, I would have shifted or amped up the belief in my calling, the belief in what I believed I was supposed to be doing. I think that I also would have earlier released perfection. Um, I,
Yep.
yeah, I once I was like, you know what? It's never going to be perfect, and it's
No.
going to be fine. Once that mantra was really in my entrepreneurial soul, that for me was a shift, and so that's what I.
Perfection, and I have always been a perfectionist. I struggled with this for a
Mm,
long time. And perfection is the enemy of done.
it
I mean,
is.
nothing
It
gets
is.
launched, and I say, you know what? It's messy, but a lot of people don't even know it,
Right.
right? It's us
No
who
one
know it.
knows it.
Nobody notices it. We think everybody does. Do they think that one sentence, that power statement was off? Do you think anybody's looking at that on your website? No. It's like, I got to keep writing this content till it's perfect. Do they know any different? No. So we got to get it in our head.
Right.
It just
Right.
can't, just go for it, do it, tweak it
Right. Right.
as you go. So
Right. Perfection is also the enemy of your confidence. The
mm,
more you try to hone it, the more you try to get it just right. You feel like it's not just right. Oh, is this the right thing I'm doing? Should I be doing this? Oh, maybe not. Perfection.
good point. Good point. I like that. It is the enemy of your confidence because you keep second guessing yourself.
It is.
Wow. I love
It
that.
is. Yeah, that was God. I wish I thought of that originally, but
Hey, claim it. I wouldn't have known any difference. I wouldn't have known. So go ahead. It's yours. You own it. So tell everybody out there, Stacy, how they can get a hold of you if they would like to kind of embark on that transformational journey with you.
Absolutely, Maureen. I will tell everybody I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn, not only because it allows you to get in touch with me, but it also allows me to be in touch with you, support you in any way I can, even if it's just other professional connections. So I believe I'm Stacy M. Lewis 7, the number 7 on LinkedIn. And they can also email me at hello@thestacymlewis.com.
Awesome. Now, what your website's going to be ready. So people who are watching the replay, this will be playing for a while.
That's
What
right.
will what will your website URL be where people
It will
can?
be thestacymlewis.com.
I love it.
I
The
love
the one
you.
the one and only. Oh,
The one and only.
exactly. Well, I hope you're going to be coming back in 2024 to share, some of those goals that you have and where you're at and how you're juggling all of this. Give some inspiration out there for others who want to create this side exit plan, transition plan, or really a hobby that makes money and makes an impact. I got to come
Yes.
up with some really great word
Impact.
for this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And I would love to join you at any time.
Thank you, Stacy. All right, everybody. We are just about at our 30-minute mark. It goes like that. And I could
It
have
does.
talked to you for like another 30 days, but we understand that, people in their patience, they want to pick up this information and run with it. And I think Stacy gave you some amazing information. So for those of you who are entrepreneurs out there and you'd like to be a guest on this show, please reach out to me. You can go ahead on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on all of them. Send me a quick message that you'd like to be a guest. Anybody who's an entrepreneur, regardless of what industry or where you are in your journey, would make a wonderful guest here to talk and share your words of wisdom. If you are doing a lot of marketing out there and you're still not converting, please reach out to me, because I've always said, you don't have a marketing problem, you've got a messaging problem. So let's get that straightened out. Reach out to me at 8simplesteps.net, and I will see everybody back here next week with another rockstar. Good night, everybody.